For the many countries that have been with us throughout the evening, we welcome you back. For the countries that are just joining us, this is downtown Houston, Texas, where we're going to visit the Minute Maid Park, the home of the Houston Astros Baseball Club in America's major leagues. As Golden Boy Promotions, in association with Leha Bata Promotions, presents this, our boxing event of the evening, our main event, the 12-round super welterweight battle at 154 pounds. Former two-time world champion Saul Canelo Alvarez from Guadalajara, Mexico, 44-1-1 with 31 knockouts, takes on the very hard-punching James Kirkland of Austin, Texas, 32-1. Hello once again, everybody, and again, welcome back if you've been with us. And for the countries just joining us, I'm the Colonel Bob Sheridan along with Doug Fisher, and welcome to Golden Boy's production of this beautiful fight that we're going to show you tonight. Well, Doug Fisher at the very top of the show. For the people that weren't with us, we can tell the new countries that have just joined us, we expect this to be all that the fight that everyone hoped for last week wasn't.
Absolutely. We're expecting sustained action. We're expecting guts on display. We're expecting a lot of drama.
And drama it will be. Canelo Alvarez comes in here 44-1 with a draw, 31 knockouts out of Guadalajara, Mexico. As you take a look at the tail of the tape, it'll tell us a few things.
They match up very well. At age 24, Saul Alvarez is 7 years younger, but their height is equal and their reach is equal.
And the weight just about the same as well. So not a lot of difference on the tail of the tape. However, James Kirkland is a southpaw. We asked Canelo, will that create any problems for him? Canelo made it clear that they brought in southpaws, bigger guys than he is, guys middleweights that came in from as far as Australia, Canada, to train with him to get him ready for this fight. So the southpaw aspect of Kirkland won't bother him at all.
Yeah, I mean, he has to prepare for more than just the southpaw stance. He has to prepare for a lot of power, a lot of physical strength, a lot of rough stuff. So it's good that he didn't just have left-handers in his camp, but bigger guys, because one of James Kirkland's strengths is his physical strength.
Well, you know, Kirkland, you may not know his story. He had some problems with the law a few years ago, but since 2009, he straightened himself out. And he's turned out to be a different guy. He said he's not hanging around with that same element, and he's made himself a professional prize fighter. He's coming off a win, a 6-round TKO over Glenn Tapia, who was 22-0 at the time when he fought him in Atlantic City. So that was a big win for the guy. He turned pro back in 2001. They're just showing Canelo Alvarez the same shot that you see on the giant Tron here in Minute Maid Park, and the crowd, of course, this is Mexican territory. Canelo Alvarez, this is a home game for him here in Houston.
People call Houston H-Town, but right now it's Canelo Town.
For sure. Canelo Alvarez, a world-class boxer, counter-puncher. His last 4 fights all went the distance, but he's a very technical fighter. But when he wants to fight, he can fight, and he can brawl, and he'll do it. And he knows he might have to do that from time to time in this fight, and he will. But he said he's going to do it under control.
Yeah, Canelo is a versatile boxer-puncher. He can work a jab, he can move a little bit, but I think he likes to stay in the pocket. He likes to plant his feet and drop power combinations.
As we watch James Kirkland enter the arena, and he's got his game face on, as he always does.
There's been a lot of talk about James Kirkland maybe not bringing his best to this fight because he doesn't have his usual trainer, Ann Wolf, with him for this fight, and I think that's a lot of baloney. I think, you know, he's been a pro for almost 15 years. He's got 33 professional bouts. If he hadn't gone to jail a few times, he'd probably have more fights than Canelo Alvarez. James Kirkland is what he is once he steps into that ring, and that's hell on wheels.
Well, he's got a good corner. Ann Wolf is out, and Kenny Adams, who work with him. They didn't just mesh. Kenny's a good trainer, but his style didn't mesh with the way Kirkland wanted to fight. So he's got Rick Morones, Bebe McClinton, who is a strength and conditioning coach, and he also trained the San Antonio Spurs, strength and conditioning coach, and then Gerald Tucker works with him. So he's very, very pleased with his team. He's been in training for almost 4 months. He says, as all fighters say, it's his best training camp ever. But Bebe McClinton really pushed him. Michael Buffer's standing by, and we should have this fight underway for you momentarily. Although I don't see Michael up there right now, but as soon as he's ready, we'll be set as we coordinate with the HBO network in the United States.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this party started! Coming to the ring from Austin, Texas, the Mandingo Warrior, James Kirkland!
You ain't trouble now. trouble now. Ain't nobody say you now. All black everything. This is not a game. This that fire flame. Itching for some attention, so now you entertain. Mask up, get it up in that high printer, man. All you had to do was cheat. Mind your business.
So James Kirkland, 32 victories, only one loss is Michael.
Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Listen to the 40,000 plus now.
Yo soy mexicano, mi tierra es bravía. Palabra de macho que no hay otra tierra más linda y más brava que la tierra mía. Yo soy mexicano, y orgullo lo tengo. Nací despreciando la vida y la muerte. Y siendo bravata, también la sostengo.
The long walkout for Canelo Alvarez, and he loves it as he salutes the crowd in Houston. He has Mexico on his shoulders. All right, so Alvarez makes his way in and he relishes it. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Minute Maid Park here in Houston, Texas, USA, and the main event of the evening. It's Slugger versus Slugger, KO artist versus KO artist, 12 rounds of boxing in the super welterweight division. And it's all brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions in association with Canelo Promotions, SMS Promotions, and Leja Bata Promotions. Sponsored by Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina. Mexico, live it to believe it. Fred Loya, put Loya in your corner, and O'Reilly's Auto Parts, better prices every day. This bout is sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. Chairman Mike Arizmendez. Executive Director William Kuntz. This contest dedicated to the memory of Jerry Lustenau. At ringside, the three judges scoring this bout. David Ikokibuchi, Levi Martinez, and Barry Yates. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, the referee, John Shorley. And now, the officials are ready. The fighters are in the ring, and they are ready. Boxing fans, are you ready? Damas y caballeros, estamos listos. For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with red, officially weighing in at 154 1/2 pounds. He has 33 professional fights, 32 victories, including 28 big wins by knockout, with only one defeat. From Austin, Texas, USA, the former WBC Continental America's Super Welterweight Champion, James Mandingo Warrior Kirkland. And fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with green, official weight, also 154 1/2 pounds. As as a professional, 44 professional victories, including 31 wins by knockout, only 1 defeat, with 1 draw. De Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, the former super welterweight champion of the world, Saul Canelo
Those trunks are good there. Those trunks are good there. James, give me a good, clean fight. Obey my commands and protect yourselves at all times. Canelo, yo quiero una pelea limpia. Obedezcan mis órdenes y protéjanse a todo tiempo.
All right, we're set to go. 10-point must scoring system. No standing 8 count. No 3 knockdown rule. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case of an accidental foul, we go to the scorecards after the 4th round is complete. Canelo Alvarez and James Kirkland. And boy, you can feel the enthusiasm in this crowd.
You really can. The enthusiasm of 40,000 fans, and everybody expects James Kirkland to start very fast.
With the green trim on his black trunks is Canelo Alvarez to the left of your screen. Now with his back to you, that's Kirkland trying to put the pressure on immediately.
Kirkland usually starts fast. He's very frenetic, very active, but he's also susceptible to knockdowns in the early round.
By the way, Alvarez has never been down as a professional or an amateur fighter. Kirkland was knocked out 1 time by Nobu Ishida in Las Vegas, and that was of the 1st round. He was down 3 times in that fight, and right now he's just teeing off on Canelo Alvarez. Alvarez trying to weather the storm here in the early going, trying to figure out what he's going to do. He knew this guy would pressure him. There's the head in his face, and John Shirley says, hey, watch that stuff. Not going to have any of that.
Yeah, it's not just pressure, it's roughhouse tactics.
And that's the way you would expect Kirkland to fight. It's his best shot. Goes with that straight left-hand lead. It's like the lip is bloodied already of Alvarez.
That could have come from a clash of heads, but it could have been a punch as well. Kirkland has landed his left hand a few times.
Settle down a bit now. Nice right hand, nice right uppercut. And any time that Alvarez does anything, you're going to hear the crowd react to what he does. The right hand catches Kirkland, left hand missed with the right.
Kirkland's legs stiffened a little bit from some of those shots. Like I said, he's always been susceptible in the opening round of the bouts.
And he goes down right on the chin. Just as you said it, he's been susceptible in the early going. He was hit right on the chin by Saul Canelo Alvarez, and down he went. How about that? What a surprise. That's what we may have expected Kirkland to do in the early going. He tried, but all of a sudden Alvarez has snapped right back and has this guy in some trouble here. Uppercuts, right hands.
Smart of Alvarez to work the body of Kirkland. A lot of guys try to go for the head of Kirkland after they knock him down in the early rounds, and Kirkland always comes back, except for that 1 fight against Ishida. He's always bounced back from early round knockdowns.
He's been down, as we mentioned, against Nobu Ishida. He was down 3 times in the 1st round of that fight before he was knocked out. He's got his wherewithal back, but the punches of Canelo Alvarez are really crisp and really clean. There's that body shot again, and that hurt him too.
That was a left hook to the liver, and it made Kirkland's legs wobble.
That's a punishing one. Solid right hand. Back to the lever. He's ready to go again. He doesn't answer. Surely could step in. The bell ends. Whoa, what a round for Alvarez. I got to score that. Maybe
10-7, yeah. You can make an argument.
That was different than just a 10-8 round with a knockdown, because the ref was ready to step in there. If that'd been another 15 seconds, that fight would have been over.
Yeah, I think Kirkland was saved by the bell.
I got to give him the extra point for that. That's a 10-7 round in my book. Watch this.
Beautiful left hook to the liver, followed by a straight right down the pike. Accurate, economical punching from Canelo Alvarez, and it sends James Kirkland to the seat of his pants. Let's see another angle of this. Alvarez steps in, fakes with his right, lands the left, comes back with the right, sends Kirkland stumbling into the ropes.
Canelo's mother there, right there, reacting. So here we go, round number 2. Colonel Bob Sheridan, Doug Fisher. Canelo Alvarez had a sensational 1st round against James Kirkland, who we almost expected to try to do that to Canelo, but Canelo's a total charger. He caught him again, and again, and again. Look at these clean shots. He better answer, or is surely going to step in.
Kirkland's not the kind of guy to hang on. He's not the kind of guy to tie his opponent up. He usually survives rough spots by firing back, and he's not doing it.
He just tried to get back in. If he takes about 4 or 5 more clean shots, He's in danger of having this fight stopped. The people would like to see a bit more, but wow. What a start for Canelo Alvarez. We told you it would be fast and furious.
And it's good for Canelo to score these shots now because James Kirkland is a momentum-type fighter. Once he gets his momentum going, he's hell on wheels, and he's very hard to stop once he's warmed up. It's best to catch him when he's cold and still warming up.
Now, fans, he's not totally there yet. He's very flat-footed. He's very loose in the knees, heavy in the heels. I'm talking about Kirkland. And Canelo has hit him with some real heavy shots here in the second round, as well as dropping him in the first.
If Alvarez thinks that by evading punches, he'll let Kirkland punch himself out, that won't happen. Kirkland is used to throwing like 100 punches around. I think Canelo has to still answer back and land punches, even when he's not getting hit.
You know, Kirkland goes southpaw, and he's able to be hit with the right hand now as he lunges with his left hand. It's a bad idea, I think, for Kirkland, although he trains that way. Look at Saul Alvarez coming with that uppercut.
Alvarez is defending well in the corner here, but I'd like to see him mount some offense. He's allowing Kirkland to warm up and get back into this fight, even though Alvarez isn't getting hurt.
Yeah, he's not hitting him with real clean and heavy shots. Alvarez now works his way out of the corner now with his back still to the ropes. He's very happy with what he's able to do. Puts the head on the shoulder, pushes him off, trying to get some room to land the big right hand.
It's good stuff from Alvarez when he lets his hands go, but he's always been one to get off in spots, which allows a volume puncher like James Kirkland to work his way back into a fight. One thing about Kirkland, he works consistently for 3 minutes if you let him.
Well, he's working consistently for 3 minutes in this round. His legs are still kind of heavy, but he hasn't stopped throwing punches. Alvarez needs to create some room, create some distance instead of hanging on to that glove. Finally, he's got some. Walked right into an uppercut, did Kirkland. And another one. That wasn't one as heavy as the first one. Closing seconds now of the second round. Boy, Alvarez had a sensational first round. I scored at 10-7, and that's a 10-9 round.
Don't drop your hands, son, at all. Hold on. Stay prepared for that hook. And got the center man. He's wearing him down. That's why he's taking breaks on the ropes again. He never been in no fight. Keep your fucking hands up. Get your feet together. Keep that front foot in front of you. Don't square up, baby, okay? He never been in no fight like this. Never been in a fight like this. Yeah, one more. How you feeling? Tell me you're feeling good.
Saul Alvarez landing a perfect left uppercut while James Kirkland's back was to the ropes in round 2. See another angle of it. He kind of fakes with it, but man, he winds up. Oh, this is a left hook. Devastating stuff from Saul Alvarez early in round 2. James Kirkland did fight his way back into that round.
All right, we get ready to move to round number 3, Minute Maid Park. The latest crowd count we've heard is in excess of 40,000 here. How about that, folks? And the Mexican fans in attendance love every minute of it, although James Kirkland is from Austin, Texas. Make no mistake about it, this is a home game for Canelo Alvarez. Alvarez to the right of his screen. And here's James Kirkland doing what he always does, and that's firing a lot of punches. Alvarez is hitting the clean shots and the heavier blows, but Kirkland won't stop throwing unless Alvarez can stop him in his tracks.
Kirkland can take advantage of these lulls in offense from Alvarez. Although Alvarez is doing a decent job of defending along the ropes, when Alvarez just plants his feet, leans against ropes, or just stands in center ring and covers up, Kirkland does have an opportunity to score points.
Well, Kirkland worked so hard in this training camp like none other, he said. Had the nutritionist, his younger brother was a nutritionist, and had the proper food for this. None of these punches are hurting. They're like little shoeshine punches, little rat-tat-taps. Not really setting down in the punches. Alvarez is just dogging them up.
Yeah, the steam doesn't seem there in Kirkland's punches, although with Alvarez's facial structure and his skin tone, it doesn't take a lot for him to mark up.
Yeah, very fair complected.
Yeah, so he bruises easy. He marks up.
Oh, 2 hard punches. All of that stuff that Kirkland has thrown didn't have as much effect as those 2 punches that Alvarez just had. And another right hand, and another one.
And I love that Alvarez continues to work the body.
Look at these shots. Alvarez to the left of your screen, landing heavy power shots. Kirkland does, oh, the uppercut caught him, coming forward. Counts up to 3 and 4. Kirkland's eyes are clear. He's up at 6. Have to take the 8 count. So he's been down for the 2nd time in the fight.
If Kirkland can get up, he's going to fight. He's always going to want to fight. He's never going to give up.
But his legs are not there. This time, I don't think he's getting up.
Wow.
Is he counting or is it all over?
Oh, it's over.
All over.
It's over.
He knocked him out cold. Referee didn't want to bother the count. They want to get the doctor in there first. That was a right hand that finished him off. How about Canelo Alvarez? Wow.
That was a good call from John Shorley. I don't know if Kirkland would have been able to get up under his own power after that, but the fight should have been over.
And he was right not to waste the time counting him out.
I think Alvarez is actually a little bit concerned about his opponent. The manner in which he went down and landed on the canvas.
Well, I mean, he was knocked out before he hit the canvas because he caught him with an uppercut initially and then a real solid right hand. He was out on his feet before the right hand hit him.
I agree.
And he had everything going. Well, the new star of Mexico, the new star of the world.
Sensational performance from Canelo Alvarez.
It wasn't long, but the customers got what they came for.
They really did. They got a shootout.
This is why they paid for the ticket. Yeah, Canelo is a ticket seller. He has his star power.
But also the matchup. They knew they would get nonstop action. Beautiful right uppercut. That was really the beginning of the end. And Kirkland went straight down after eating that shot.
That was the first knockdown of the round, and then he comes back and
Alvarez leans away from that left hand and comes back with a right uppercut.
It's a counter right uppercut from Alvarez, which in effect took away the legs of Kirkland, whatever was left of his legs after the first round.
Let's see the end of the fight. He touches him to the body as a measuring stick with his left and comes over. It's a sweeping right cross.
He didn't even see it.
Just as Kirkland was loading up with his own punch and twisted his body half around, and the manner in which he fell, his body was listless, flat on his back. Let's watch another angle of it. Touches him with the right, with the left, comes over with the right, distorts the features of Kirkland as Kirkland was loading up with his own left hand, twists his body halfway around, his legs are crossed, his body hits the canvas in dramatic fashion.
Watch this, Doug. When he touches him right there, see the hands come down and around, and bam, the right hand. Wow!
That's because Kirkland was loading up with his own punches.
And he fires from the hip. He's a man who lives by the sword and dies by the sword. And that was the end of everything for James Kirkland.
Well, folks, here's Michael Buffer.
Here at Houston, Texas, in the tradition of slugger versus slugger. The end comes at 2 minutes, 19 seconds of round number 3. The winner by knockout victory, the fighting pride of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Saul Canelo
Man, oh man, that little touch after the uppercut knockdown, he touched him, and you saw Kirkland's hands come down as if to push him away and start to load up his own shot, and all of a sudden that right hand was right on his chin, and out went the lights.
Alvarez is a beautiful technician when it comes to his offense.
Well, the fans can shake off the show from last week.
Yeah, that woke us all up.
Yeah,
we wanted it. It was a one-sided shootout, but it was pure electricity and just what the boxing community needed after last Saturday.
And, you know, I had the thrills and the goosebumps, you know, that you get when there's a big fight. And this wasn't even a world title fight.
No.
It had all the, certainly more flair than a lot of world titles.
It didn't have to.
Max Kellerman from HBO in the United States is in there with the winner.
Congratulations, Canelo, on a sensational, electrifying knockout win in front of all these people. How do you feel about being in a fight like this?
No, me siento muy bien, me siento muy contento, agradecido con toda la gente que está aquí apoyándome.
I feel very good, I feel very happy with all the people that are here supporting me.
Es una gran motivación para mí. Eso me da fuerza para levantarme, correr, entrenar y seguir ganando peleas. Muchas gracias a todos.
This gives me great motivation to get up in the morning, to keep running, to keep winning fights. Thank you, everyone.
But you've won plenty of fights in the past. This was a high-profile fight where the two of you went to war. It was an action fight. What do you think about that kind of fight?
Así es, Kirkland es un gran peleador. Es un peleador muy fuerte, como pensábamos, ¿no? Como pensábamos, un peleador que iba a ir hacia el frente, iba a ir hacia el frente tirando golpes, y así fue, ¿no? Al principio nos fatigamos un poco porque empezó muy fuerte la pelea, pero después empecé a agarrar mi ritmo, entonces fue como gané la pelea.
Kirkland is a great fighter. We knew he was going to come in and throw punches. You know, at the beginning, we were both a little exhausted, but I knew what happened. I knew we would win the fight.
It seems to me that you prefer this kind of fight to a Lara kind of fight, where there's not as much action. Is that the case?
No, siempre pelear con un peleador como Kirkland que le gusta pelear. Para mí y para la gente creo que es las peleas que les gusta ver, ¿no? Y claro, me encanta, me encanta.
Fighting a man like Kirkland, a man that comes to fight, is something that the public's like and that I love.
Did you feel after last week's big fight that didn't produce fireworks, that you could create something special here for boxing fans who are hungry for that kind of fight?
Mira, sinceramente yo no me baso en otras peleas. Yo no me baso en otras carreras. Yo me baso en lo que yo hago, en las peleas que yo hago. Y a la gente le gusta y eso es lo que me importa.
Truthfully, I don't focus on other fighters. I don't focus on other fights. I do what I do. I do what the people like, and that's what's important to me.
So let's focus on your next fight. You just took care of business. If Cotto takes care of business in June, are you interested in fighting Cotto before the end of this year?
Yo estoy listo para cualquier rival. Yo no lo rehuyo a nadie y estoy listo aquí para cualquiera.
I'm ready for any rival. I don't run away from anyone. I'm ready for anyone.
That's one of the things we all love about you. Does that include Triple G in the not-too-distant future, Gennady Golovkin?
Claro, ¿por qué no? Él es un gran campeón, es un guerrero. Son de los peleadores que me gusta pelear. En el futuro está esa pelea, ¿por qué no?
Yes, why not? He's a great champion. He's a warrior, and that's the type of fighter that I want to fight. In the future, yes.
Thank you, Canelo, for a spectacular showing.
Spectacular it was. Let's see if he's going to talk to Kirkland.
James, congratulations on a tough showing. You jumped on him. You seemed to catch him with a right hand early, followed him into the corner, and then he seemed to start unloading on you. How badly were you hurt in that first round?
Honestly, first and most, I want to give thanks to God for this opportunity, because without him, none of this is possible.
And I should ask, can you even remember clearly a fight like that at a moment like this when so many punches were exchanged?
Most definitely. You know, I'm a fighter, so most definitely you got to be able to know your ends in your house when it comes to being in the ring. Most, as I can say, you know, I got in there, putting work together, like evidently left my left hand down, and he came over the top and caught me with a shot. You know, I tried to regroup the referee. He called it off. So most definitely, I take nothing away from Canelo. He did an outstanding job at the end of the day. You know, I'm a warrior, you know. I definitely like that type of fighting, that type of exposure, you know, and that's exactly what I needed.
Oh, you're a warrior. That's why everyone loves you. Boxing fans. But the way you usually win fights is you may have to get over some rocky moments, and we've consistently seen you do that except for the Ishida fight. What was it about Canelo when, even when you got back and you overcame and you shook the cobwebs and you started pressuring him, what was it about Canelo that you ultimately weren't able to overcome?
As I say, you know, he's a crafty fighter. You know, he come with a lot of skill, a lot of fights, you know. Take nothing away from him. He was just on his P's and Q's, and he showed it tonight.
Thank you, James. We look forward to seeing you again. Jim?
All right, the Colonel Bob Sheridan back here with Doug Fisher. Well, Doug, certainly as you take a look at this knockout again.
Dramatic stuff.
And, you know, all of world title fights I've done up around the high 980s, this ranks right up there with some of the really sensational knockouts I've seen. And you'll see the reaction of his mother and his girlfriend coming up right now on the screen, thrilled with what the son and boyfriend has done on this night. Is Canelo Alvarez looking towards his family, raising their hands, and he's absolutely thrilled. His mom and the girl right there. And
he's soaking it in, and the great thing is everybody feels the same way. We all had that huge adrenaline rush.
Well, we've got a brand new star in Mexico, and certainly on the world scene now in Canelo Alvarez. You know, he was only 22 years old when he fought Floyd Mayweather. I don't know if that's a possibility to do that again. If
it would be
Floyd,
big money, definitely.
Well, it'd be huge. Whether Floyd would take a chance now, because this isn't the same fighter that lost to Floyd.
He's grown, and he's going to grow into a world-class middleweight very soon, and what you heard in his post-fight comments is what hardcore fans and even casual fans want to hear, that he's willing to fight the other champions out there, the other stars out there, like Miguel Cotto, or even a guy like Gennady Golovkin, who a lot of middleweights and even super middleweights want no part of.
Well, nobody wants any part of him, and I don't know if Alvarez should take that job on yet, but certainly the Cotto fight would be a real interesting fight. There he is, Canelo Alvarez, and he'll have to fight for world titles soon, being interviewed by the other various networks. That's TV Azteca of Mexico, and they all want their piece of Canelo Alvarez, who is the superstar in the great history of the great Mexican fighters.
Yeah, he was a star in Mexico before he even made his American pro debut, which is back when he was 18 years old. What this young man has the possibility of doing at the age of 24, that's still so young. It's amazing how many fights he has and how many big events he has under his belt, but he can really cross over the way very few Latino stars in the past have. He could be like a Roberto Duran, where he's respected by Latinos who are not Mexican, but also Americans and fight fans around the world.
Canelo, you hear the reaction of the crowd here at Minute Maid Park, some 40,000 strong, hanging around to catch a glimpse of him. It was an interesting night of boxing above and beyond. What this guy just did is he says hello to Julio Cesar Chavez, who's working with one of the Mexican networks, and of course Julio Cesar Chavez is considered one of the great Mexican fighters of all time in the long list of terrific Mexican fighters. And this is the next one in line. Marco Antonio Barrera, another one of those who's down there.
And Chavez Sr., of course, and Barrera, they were guys who always sold well in Texas, and Canelo has certainly showed that he is a powerhouse at the box office here in Texas. With this fight, 40,000, and with his fight a few years ago with Austin Trout, that was more than 30,000 in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome. So he's just got such a bright future, and I think he can sell anywhere. I think he would sell on the East Coast even.
Oh, for sure. He's a terrific fighter. People want to see more, see him again. And Kirkland will be back to fight again. He was thrilled with the camp that he had. It didn't work out against a guy that's, you get to start saying he's a cut above the rest. Is Canelo Alvarez right now at this stage. Oh, we get to see young Jojo Diaz and his unanimous decision victory over a tough game Giovanni Delgado. Oscar De La Hoya has got to be thrilled that he is a superstar to help Golden Boy continue to flourish with a star like him. And we also got to see a guy that they're grooming, a big heavyweight. How far he can go? Well, it depends on him. Taishan Dong from Beijing, China, had his victory over Jamal Woods, who was a late replacement, but he did what he had to do, and he won his fight. And then, of course, in our main event, Canelo Alvarez, super, and certainly a big night for Oscar De La Hoya and everybody at Golden Boy with a wonderful victory for Canelo Alvarez. A final comment from you, Doug. I really enjoyed working with you. You brought some great insight to the telecast.
It's always an honor, Colonel. I think Alvarez is right now. Last Saturday with Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, we really saw the past. They made for the biggest event in many decades. Both guys are first ballot Hall of Famers. Both guys are in their final years as professionals. So who is that next star in boxing? Well, it's Canelo Alvarez, and this card is wonderful because we also got to see on the undercard a glimpse of the future with a young man like Joseph Jojo